People love playing with me, but hate it when I play back. What goes around comes around.
Listen, I don't have a minute to spare because it's so much. I just want to get right into it. Hi, everybody. How are you?
What's up, everybody? Perry Peeps, what's up?
Perry's Peeps with her. Okay, you guys, we're just gonna go. I do not want to talk about this video about the Diddy case, not another day, but I was asked to cover it, and I already started it. So I had this information yesterday. I needed a day off. This because it wasn't anything much to talk about. I don't want to come on here and just talk about none. It was nothing to talk about, but I probably should have did it yesterday because the information is getting so twisted. It's crazy. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about 50 Cent losing a relationship with his second son. Like, he doesn't even care. He just goes on about his business.
Yep, he just drop off child support, keep moving.
And then if we if we have time, we're going to talk about this other case where a woman let her friend watch her child, and the child came back. Well, didn't come back. The child was unalived. That's the kind of stuff I like to talk about, like serious topics like that. But let's get started. Okay, so listen, we kind of uncovered this a while back. Thank you, D. Hunter. I appreciate it. That Diddy pretty much was going to win the case. And some people couldn't handle that. They were like, no, Sharrell, you're lying. Da, 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 da. But, and I told you, there were only a couple bloggers really following it the way that it's supposed to be followed. So I'm not the type of blogger. I don't lie. If you lie, it comes back to haunt you. I don't sensationalize. That comes back to haunt you. Do you guys remember when the Shanquilla case was going on and they were saying, oh, they arrested these people. And that guy from Mexico was the only one who knew the information. I don't do shit like that. I do not lie. It comes back to haunt you. You don't have to sensationalize and make something better than what it is just so you can get numbers, because your reputation will follow you. Okay, there's a lot of bloggers out here will lie to you, sensationalize, add shit in. And that's what Roland Martin was upset about a couple days ago when he was like, there are people on the internet that are lying for clicks and views.
Right.
And this story's bad enough. I believe Cassie. I believe her. But they got another element in here that is a bad seed. That's Tyrone Blackburn. That is Lil Rod's attorney. I don't have to sensationalize. He's going to lose the case. He doesn't even want to win the case. He wants to shake Diddy down. He wants money. Like Cassie got money. That's what he's looking for. So I told you guys Tasha K was following the case, and you guys, oh, Tasha K. Listen, Tasha K does her due diligence. This is not the Cardi B case. This is the Tyrone Blackburn case. Then DJ Academics went on live a couple days ago and really outed this man for what he does. He goes around suing celebrities, lying on them. He didn't give a damn about Tiny and T.I.'s case. And it was so funny because in every case, he says that someone slipped something into their drink. Mm-hmm. If you take Tiny and T.I.'s case with Sabrina Peterson and just take her name out of it and put Diddy's name in it, it would be the same exact case.
Yeah.
It's not like, go ahead, Perry.
I said pretty much, you're right.
It's not like I want a guilty man vindicated. If Diddy did something, he needs to be held accountable for what he did. But I'm not going to lie on people. I'm not going to throw in as many celebrities' names as I can. Cuba Gooding Jr., TD Jakes, so you guys can love the glory and come over here because there's a big high-powered name. I'm not going to do it. And I don't care if I don't get any numbers. I'm going to report it right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What you're saying, it's fine to have an opinion. Your opinion could be wrong or right. But stating something is fact. Right now, we don't really have all the facts. But from the outside, you take the civil case, it seems shaky to me. And I can tell you reasons why. But the feds, that case, I have no idea how that's going to come out. We don't know if they found evidence, what kind of evidence they have. It's speculations that they talking to all these people. They could be. But the feds ain't came out here and told us one damn person they talking to. So
as a matter of fact, they did the opposite, but go ahead.
Anything besides that is speculation, which is fine, but just state it as that. Like I'm stating right now, with Lil Rod case, this civil case, it doesn't make sense to me if, like everybody's saying, he got so much damning evidence and he got videos galore. Okay, I'm not going to say he don't have them, but this will be the question that we all probably need to answer. If he really had all that, had a problem with Diddy for not paying him, why ain't he just simply suing Diddy for not paying him right? This other stuff pertaining to other people, what Diddy did to the person down the street and all this, that's for them to take up in the lower court. And if he had all this evidence, videotapes, and he wanted to get Diddy, why hasn't he turned it over to the feds?
I know.
It's just a question.
It's funny. He goes to the media first. Shouldn't some of this information have been given to the cops? Like, I'm filing an incident report if I know you pow somebody in the bathroom. Instead, I'm just going to take pictures and wait till Mad Day. It doesn't make sense. But let's go over what DJ Academic. So Tasha K did a story about this, calling the man a fraud. He's a liar. He botched the T.I. and Tiny case, because we have to remember, don't judge people. What you do in your bedroom is your business. If you're gay, straight, bi, that's your business. Nobody can go to jail for being a freak. But if you are honoring somebody, now that's a crime. But DJ Academics did it the best. He talked about what Tyrone Blackburn has done. Now, he has gotten in trouble for this in the past. He got in trouble with this last week, and he's still doing it. I'm going to read the new documents on the new court case. He is an attorney just out for name value, and he wants to shake rich people down, and hopefully they'll settle out of court so he can get 30 million like Cassie. Okay. But this is serious. Like, what Cassie went through is real. Like, you're making this into a money thing. How dare you? Let's talk about what DJ Academic said about him the other day. He said that what he does is he shakes lawyers down. They said that he went after Diddy, Nicki Minaj, T.I. and Tiny, and he's just getting started. If he feels that he can worm his way into a case and say the most salacious things about them, because I remember that T.I. and Tiny case, and everybody was calling them freaks, and everybody was saying, lock up Tiny, lock up T.I., and then come to find out the whole thing is a shakedown. So what happens is he gets all these women together, and they're going to testify this, but nobody's going to testify. He did it again. Okay, so yesterday, DJ Academics brought down, he also, oh my God, was in the Tiffany Haddish case. This is just a mess. He's got the Sean Combs case, Nicki Minaj, husbands under fire. The man is a con artist. I don't know what more I need to tell you. The judge called him a con artist. But you got some bloggers around here big upping him, saying how great he is and how Diddy's such a bad guy. You're crossing over into two lanes. The case doesn't make any sense. He can't prove it. He they asked the judge for evidence. He doesn't have it. So let me tell you what went down in court yesterday. Then I'll get back to the DJ Academics thing, because DJ Academics actually called this man. What happened is, last week we had a judge on another case. Her name was Judge Cote, C-O-T-E. See if I can find that letter. And in that case, I'm going to read it to you again, because I've never heard a judge cuss somebody out like this again. Let me see if I can put it on the screen. In that case, this is a separate total case, a different case, okay? In that case, she said, and I'm going to read it word for word. She said, oh my God. Oh no. Child. There. A reasonable inference from Blackburn pattern of behavior. They're saying his behavior pattern is that he improperly files cases in federal court to garner media attention, embarrass the defendants with salacious allegations, and pressures the defendants to settle. He wants you to settle. So he's going to say the nastiest things he can about you in the middle, because he wants money. But in the middle of doing all this, he's messing up your reputation. Right now, I can never look at T.I. and Tiny and think about what they got going on in their bedroom. This messes up people's reputation. He's doing it this time with T.D. Jakes. Indeed, his submissions from this court have been rife with disturbing allegations against the defendants and defense counsel. She basically called him a liar and a clout chaser, saying you're doing this for media attention. Mm-hmm. That's not right. Just because somebody's rich, you can go in there and mess up his reputation. So anyway, so that was in another case. And this is Judge Cote, because I got to get this correct, because people are mixing up the two. See right here, order states Judge Cote, C-O-T-E. Okay, so Motown writes a letter to this judge and says, this is what Judge Cote said happened to him. This is what happened in the T.I. and Tiny case. This is what happened in the Nicki Minaj case. He is a con artist. Okay, so yesterday on the 9th, when they went to court, the judge, Tyrone, writes a letter to the judge, and he says, Judge, you cannot prosecute me,
dismiss.
Dismiss, but like, yeah, you can't give me any kind of punishment. I don't know what that right word is, for something I did in another case.
Right.
That has nothing to do with this case. It's illegal for you to do that. And it's unethical for you to do that. So the judge says, you were right. I cannot persecute you on a case that has nothing to do with me. What was the list Daddy read with his little girl with all the names? Okay, so that was supposed to be, okay, let me answer this really quick because I'll forget. He supposedly was reading off these names of people that if you don't respond to me, I'm going to get you, or, you know, that type of thing. But it was an old tape when he was inviting people to go to his party. See, that's a lot of things, you know. It's like, I tell everybody this, don't rush to judge, but it's just so hard not to rush to judge. But you have to try not to rush to judge. So anyway, that's what that was about. So yesterday he goes to court and he says to the judge, you can't penalize me, that's what I'm looking for something I did in another case. Mm-hmm. Even though the things that were in the other case were lies, you can't punish me for that. So the judge says, okay. But the judge is well aware of what's going on. Everybody's well aware of what's going on because of the T.I. Tiny case, how he botched that and shook them down. He wanted money. So the judge says, okay, so Motown files a motion to be dropped from the case. Now he asked for a second amendment. Means I want to rewrite the case because I left some things out or it was inaccurate. Let me rewrite it again. And that's what I'm going to read to you. The rewriting. He's still throwing celebrities under the bus. He still has no evidence to back up what he's saying. And he's going to make sure that this makes the blogs. So the judge says to Motown, I cannot drop you from this case because he's asking for permission to rewrite the case because he wrote it up once. Now you only get 2 times and then you're out. So we're going to follow the rules. I'm going to let him refile the case, adjust it, whatever he's doing to it. He added more names is what he did. And then he rewrote the case to look just like Nancy Grace's complaint. So Nancy Grace, I love her to death, but she was a victim and she has a tendency to jump the gun. She's doing a TV show, so she gets all loud and all of that stuff, right? So, but when they rewrote the case, it looks just like she just gave him an idea. And they added Motown and Sharrell Studios back into the mix. Because without that, the case really, really, really is nothing. But anyway, so he says to Motown, so I'm going to let you rewrite your case. You guys, then I'm going to let you file your motion to be dropped from the case. But you have to hear what the new
amendment
says. Okay. So she gave him time to do that. So he's going to rewrite the amendment, which I'm going to read to you. And then they have a right to respond to ask to be dropped again. Okay. So this is a complicated case on purpose, because not only does he throw celebrity name in there and he goes to the media first, he also drags out paperwork, does really behind the back things. Like he'll say, let's meet out of court, let's mediate. And then he doesn't tell the other side that he's mediating. And then he says, well, they didn't show up. No, they didn't show up because they didn't know about it. So this man is no doubt in my mind will eventually be exposed for this case. Does not mean that I don't believe Cassie. But what I am not is a sleazy blogger that likes to do things for clicks and views. And if it's not looking good in court, I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to make shit up. That really bothers me. And I'm like Roland Martin now. If you're going to be a journalist, do it right. You know how those like Rupert Murdoch types are? Uh-huh. They'll just say anything. I love Nancy Grace, I do, but she has a job to do, and sometimes, she just gets out there. She helped with the Shanquilla Robinson case, but even that turned botched. People have to wait, let evidence present itself. Wait till we get to court, but a crook is a crook, and so. No matter if I say it, DJ Academics, Tasha K, another blogger is following him. This man is a crook. He doesn't intend on going to court. He just hopes that P Diddy gets frustrated enough so he can pay him off. And the more dirt I add to this ridiculous lawsuit, the more he's going to get pressured. All right. So I read that from the first judge. Let's talk about this. So the judge is getting everybody more time to write up their amendments because he dismissed the motion to be dropped with prejudice because he said, I'm allowing a second amendment. So we're at a standstill. Why we're at a standstill? Because he claims he has more evidence for the case and he wanted to add this more evidence in. So I hope I'm explaining you right. Perry, did I leave out anything? Because that was a long case.
That's pretty much what you're saying is this. They filed the First Amendment. They filed to get it dropped. The judge is giving them more time because now the plaintiff is filing a new amendment, which they can file later to get that dropped. But the First Amendment no longer is relevant, basically, because he's writing the second one. Mm-hmm. But
so,
but go ahead.
Let's go over this amendment that is just ridiculous. It's long. I'm only reading it because there is another blogger out there twisting shit and basically lying. Just lying. And these are people's lives. Like, you can't just do stuff for clicks and views. These are people's lives. I mean, my goodness. Okay. It says, now I gotta read, and you guys know I hate doing this because it's always small and I can't get to it. There we go. Okay, so he's added Ethiopia back into the mix. He tried to drop her, but and got it. He dropped her. They dropped her. But now he's adding her back in the mix, and he's adding Shalice Studios again. And he's adding those two again because without the Shalice Studios portion, you really don't have a case. And really, this whole amendment should really be given to the cops and not the judge. He's saying things like, he's making me call. Well, let me go through it because it's ridiculous. Okay. It says, I, Rodney Jones, declare according as follows. I have personal knowledge of the facts set forth herein, which I know to be true and correct. And if I call upon a testify as a witness, I could and would completely testify thereto. It says, around August 2022, I received a call from Sean Combs and his assistant employee, Frankie Santella, requesting that I produce several songs. Okay, this is all about the money. So he's upset because he's saying that Diddy did not pay him. And that's what you sue people for civilly, money, okay? He's saying, you didn't pay me and I deserve my money. Okay, and maybe that's true. That's the part of the case that should be in court. Because, you know, if you had an agreement, then you should pay me. But now he's adding to it. He's saying, I witnessed the accusation, use and distribute. He's saying that he seen Diddy take, distribute. The word distribute, now you're calling him a dealer. Drugs, here are the drugs listed. I hope you guys can see it. It's the E, it's the cane, it's the knockout one, GHB, ketamine, weed, and mushrooms. So he's saying that he's seen Diddy distribute these, sell, okay? Because he's suing him on a racketeering charge, which saying that Diddy pretty much runs his business like the mob. So he's into shakedowns, he's dealing, he does unethical things, illegal things for money. And at the head of this ring is the Motown CEO, Lucius Grange. Okay. He says, I witnessed the display and distribute of illegal firearms. Now, what does this have to do with him not paying you? These kind of things that you've seen, illegal substances, illegal firearms. And he goes on, because I already read this, to say that he gave the illegal firearms to gang members. Shouldn't you tell the cops this?
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be talking to the cops? And why are we in civil court for this? It's stuff like this that's going to piss off the judge, okay? I watched Mr. Combs provide laced alcohol beverages to minors and ex-workers in his home in California. Whoa. Okay. Hold on. Because I remember they put his address in here. I don't want to put the address. Let's read this one. I have videos of Mr. Combs and me working out on the treadmill with TD Jakes playing on the monitor. I watch TD Jakes' sermons every morning during our workouts. At first, I thought it was admirable that Mr. Combs listened to sermons while working out until I realized he was not studying the message. He was studying the messenger's mannerism, like maybe turned on. During our gym sessions, he detailed how he planned to leverage his relationship with TD Jakes to soften the impact on his public image of Cassie's pending lawsuit.
He's just giving you a bedtime story. I mean, is this relevant? I mean, for real, like he's gonna point out, yeah, this guy's such a criminal. He's studying TD Jakes and he's stealing his moves. He's studying him. Well, it sounds like he's studying Diddy. He came back and gave a full report on what Diddy was doing.
But how is this a part of your case when you're saying he didn't pay you? So all this other stuff besides he didn't pay you, you need to go to the police and get a police report. You need to go to the feds and tell the feds. Why are we doing this in public first before you even do a lawsuit? And now as second choice, then you decide to file the paperwork about it.
Yeah.
The more salacious, the more people will watch. The more he hopes that Diddy feels pressured. But you didn't know that Diddy's not feeling pressured, and he has the help of the one and only Jay-Z. All right. But I don't want to pull all that into it. This should be if you knew this was going on and he was dealing drugs, then you should have told the cops.
Yeah. Or
but you don't tell the cops.
If he felt like he was kidnapped, he should either go criminal, and I'm not even sure. Maybe you could, I was kidnapped and I'm gonna sue him civilly. Well, those are two things that should be in a lawsuit. If you feel like he was kidnapped, sue him for that. Sue him for the money he owe you. But how are you suing for Michelle GM, DD, Bobo, Bonji? How do you sue for that, Kelly Nola? How do you sue for these people?
Why are you calling out the chat, Perry?
No. I'm just saying.
Leave Bonji alone. Bonji is my girl, and Bonji knows what's up.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. But what I'm saying is no, I ain't calling them out like that. I'm just saying that. Can I go and sue for the chat? Is it a class action suit?
You're a mess.
Am I suing for myself? He was
right.
done.
This is what Perry's saying. He's saying if you seen these things, number one, you should have took him to the police. If you didn't go to the police or the feds, number two, you're suing for something that happened to somebody else.
Thank you. Right.
So this should be TD Jake's lawsuit, not Lil Rod's lawsuit. If he did something to you that was inappropriate, then TD Jakes should sue him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the second most important thing. So, and now also, I'm just going to say this because I don't know. I didn't cross out the people's addresses and stuff. I didn't redact this. So I got to be really careful what I show. But early on, he said now that now this is what's different than the first lawsuit. He was asked to get ex-workers for him and Diddy, and that Diddy would make him sleep with the ex-workers.
Yeah.
And he supposedly has proof of this. Okay. And so I don't know how a grown man makes you sleep with somebody else, but if that happened, I'd feel bad that happened to you. Why didn't you go tell the cops? And it happened repeated times. I'm not understanding.
And I get it. Some people feel like, hey, I needed the job at the time. I was fearful for my life. That's what people in the chat gonna say. I get that. But seems how you're not so fearful now that you'll go for a civil suit. Couldn't you simply go to the police station and report your kidnapping and the money that's due to you? But you out here basically trying to shake somebody down, in my opinion. Now, I don't know whether it's true or not, but that's my opinion.
Because we know what he did to Nicki Minaj and T.I. and Tiny and others, this is the same repeat defense. He says that, hey, they laced the drinks with something. He said that about T.I. and Tiny. He says, oh, they slept with ex-workers. He said that about T.I. and Tiny. And in all the other cases, just take out the name P Diddy and put any other name. It's the same exact formula. That can't be argued. That's just a fact. Now, why didn't you go to the police and you sat this and let this happen for a year? I don't know. But even now, why have you never filed a police report on him? That's what the judge is going to ask you. But this is probably not going to make it to court because he just wants money. Also, he's saying, so now this time he's taken out Daphne's name and replaced it with TD Jakes, and Carisha's name is still in here. Carisha's name is still in here. And just remember, you guys, crazy, what you do in your bedroom is your business. We can't start suing people for having threesomes. Now, I wouldn't do it, but it's not illegal. It's illegal if the women are underage, and you're going to have to prove that. Because remember, the girl came out this weekend and said, hey, I never said I was going to testify against Diddy. So, you got to be able to prove what you're doing. And if this time you can't prove it, you're going to get in trouble with the judge, because you just can't go around suing rich people, hoping that you can get some money out of them and messing up their reputation in the meantime. And I should pull Cassie's case. Cassie never said anything about Diddy sleeping with men. She never said anything about Lil Rod. So don't confuse the two lawsuits. She never mentioned Lil Rod's name. But people are starting to take what happened with what she said happened to her, and he's claiming it for himself now. Let's get to the Sharrell Studios. I can't put this on the stream, the page yet, because it has their address. And I don't even know if I should put it on there, but I will when I can. It says, and this is so important. So they had already dropped Sharrell Studios because it all happened in California, not New York. But he put them back on the menu, okay? And what he's basically saying is that P Diddy pow-powed somebody and told everybody to lie. So if in our question was, if that happened, how come nobody came forward to speak on it? Well, now miraculously, he says that he has people to vouch for what he says. Okay. He says on September 11, 2022, Mr. Combs held a writers and producers camp at Sharrell's recording studio. And then they give the address. Over 100 producers and songwriters and other creative attended this camp. Many of the attendees brought plus ones with them. So that's like a lot of people. Many attendants brought plus ones. Mr. Combs, Justin Combs, and Justin's good friend G. So remember I told you guys, allegedly there was a guy, and they're not saying his name. His name was G, and G was supposed to testify, but when Motown goes to look for G, he can't be found anywhere. And so they insisted that he be dropped, because you're supposed to be able to counter what this person is saying, at least ask them questions. There's no G to be found. So now I guess I'm going to hope for his sake he found G. But no, whether it's now or later, eventually G has to come forward. From my understanding, G was approximately 30 years old at the time. He's an African-American male and is much taller than me. While at camp, I was required to work outside of Studio A in the lounge area on the early morning of September 12th, approximately 3 to 4 a.m. During this camp, Mr. Combs, Justin Combs, and G were in a heated conversation. The conversation was moved from the studio to inside a restroom adjacent to where I was sitting. I approximately 2 feet away from the bathroom when I heard pow pow. I recall hearing multiple shots. I immediately went to state of shock and fear that I would and could be pow pow next. A crowd gathered around the restroom, and when the door finally opened, Mr. Combs and Justin exited. Now remember, the reason that Sharrell got dropped the first time is they could not find Mr. G. I'm going to assume that he's found, because if he's not found again this time, you're going to look really, really bad. And if you're saying that this happened, Motown should be able to question him. They should be able to counter, okay? G was lying on the restroom floor in a fetal position, holding his torso and bleeding out from what I believe was somewhere near his hip and leg area. Everyone stood around looking at G, and nobody was trying to help him. I was very frustrated by the lack of aid G was receiving, and I was determined not to let him DIE on my watch. I dropped everything I was doing and ran to G and immediately began placing pressure on G's wounds. As I was applying pressure on his first wound, I realized G was gushing blood from another area. Now, no one has questioned G yet. Nobody, except Tyrone. Not the police, not the feds, nobody. And when Motown went to go question him, they could not find him. I feel like you're buying time. All right. I picked up and brought him. Oh, and by the way, He has pictures. So at some point during this traumatic event, he pulled out a camera and started taking pictures.
Well, he said he had pictures, right? Or have
Yeah.
you seen? Okay.
Yeah, I seen the pictures. I seen
okay,
it.
okay,
It's just a bloody room and
okay.
all of that. Um, I picked up and brought him to the front studio where I believe the ambulance would be. Unfortunately, when I arrived at the front studio, I was told the ambulance was at the end of the block and refused to come in the studio out of fear that there was an active power. I had to run to the ambulance and inform and convince them that it was safe for them to come into the studio. At this time, Mr. Combs and Justin disappeared into Studio G across from the parking lot into Studio A. So you're taking pictures, you're saving his life, you're taking pictures, and you're watching Diddy and Justin walk into a different area, but you don't say anything to the police. You claim that he told everybody, don't say anything, say that he just walked in. You held on to this for a year. I'm just wondering why. Because me, and I'm different. If I see anybody if Perry pow somebody in front of me, I'm telling. Period.
Damn.
I am. Because what?
No, I'm just joking. But either way, look, and I get people who say, well, he was scared, but a lot of stuff to me that he's alleging in the lawsuit, he seemed like a very well storyteller. And because he's always around seeing everything, taking pictures of everything, for a person who's supposed to be under the influence of being drugged. A lot of
I
times
have to say this too. I am very leery of his story because of Tyrone. You've done this before to many people. That's number one. Number two, the lawsuits are crossing over. This is not a federal case. This is a civil lawsuit. Shouldn't this be a criminal lawsuit? If you've seen somebody pow somebody, you don't want to take them to criminal court, you take them to civil court. All right. I was applying pressure to the room. I seen blood gushing from another area of his hip. I picked up G and brought him to the front studio. When I arrived, I ran into the ambulance and informed them and convinced them that it was safe for them to come into the studio. At this time, Mr. Cohn and Justin disappeared to Studio G across the parking lot from Studio A. Mr. Combs gave strict instructions to inform the police that he had nothing to do with the pow. He also forced me to lie to the cops by telling them that G was shot standing outside the studio by a driver assailant. So there's a lot going on, okay? So somebody's pow. You're watching his every move. He tells you don't say anything. You don't ask why. You don't say, no, I'm not going to do that. You lie. Maybe that was your thing to do. It's a lot going on. And if they dropped it the first time because of they can't find G, and two, it's out of their jurisdiction, what would make it different this time? Why are you repeating this? They already dropped it. Okay. Because without it, now you just got a freaky guy that's running around sleeping with, paying people to sleeping with something, and a couple of them may be or may not be underage.
Yeah.
I have a video of the restroom where G was located. Okay, when did you record this? This is why you should have went to the police. You don't go to the police, but you go to the public. If you are telling the truth, everything that you're saying is going to be scrutinized because of who you're rolling with. And you could have easily chose a different attorney. If you weren't approached by him, we don't know. I have a video of the restroom where G was located, and it clearly shows all of the blood that G lost as a result of being pow-powed. I have several Ryder Camps attendees who are willing to provide the court with a sworn statement. Okay. Now it's a sworn statement. But before, you said nobody was willing to come forward. Now there's a sworn statement, and it depends on who the judge is. Sometimes judges don't take sworn statements. Sometimes you have to come in court in person and testify. But whatever you do, sworn statement, not sworn statement, the other side has the right to counter it. They need to talk to those witnesses of what happened that day. Okay, so weird that it's falling in line just like Nancy Grace had laid out. Now, she was speculating, but she must have been a genius, because now your new statements add up exactly to what Nancy Grace was saying. Okay, now we're going to talk about ex-workers, parties, and excessive drug use. Now, you said that you slept with these sex workers. Hold on. Hi, Jean. It's funny how everybody is disrespecting Young Miami, but praises Cassie when Cassie is older and came back twice. Maybe because she's the other. Perry, what do you think about that? A lot of people are saying that. They're saying,
no, I mean, look, with Young Miami, she's an adult. She can do what she want to do. If she want to be, if Diddy treat her bad and she want that kind of treatment,
no,
she's an adult. But, huh?
That's not what he's talking about.
What he's saying
that when Cassie, who's of a different nationality, came forward, everybody gave her sympathy. When Miss Miami comes forward, we're calling her a hoe.
Well, look, I don't even pretty much didn't know about the whatever nationality, whatever. I thought both of them was just whatever. But I just feel like this. Whatever Cassidy went through, she put up with it. But if she feel like she had a gripe with him, she took him to court. He settled. That's all I know. Right. So whatever her gripe was, he sort of agreed to either push it away or pay her. If Young Miami come and do a case with him, she can do the same thing. If he pay her, he's saying, hey, I accept your gripe. I'm going to go ahead and settle with you. He didn't settle with Lil Rod. But when you're talking about the women, I feel sorry for anybody that was mistreated, even Lil Rod. Like I said, if Lil Rod wasn't paid, he had the right to take the man to court. If he feel like he was kidnapped, he got the right. But I'm just saying most of the stuff for me in this lawsuit is about everybody but Lil Rod. He was just a professional photographer on duty that night that seen everything, the professional reporter that wrote down everything. When he's supposed to be, according to his words, pretty much always under the influence because they spiked the drink. But go ahead, Sharrell.
It's crazy because Lil Rod's story is the same exact story as Tiny and T.I. And so I just want to know, because this man is 30 years old and he has the wherewithal to sue somebody for his money, but he doesn't speak up when he sees any wrongdoing. All right. Mr. Combs converted the parking lot at Shalice Studios into a makeshift nightclub. He had imaginable, including a full service bar, a spa, and a hookah. I can put this back on the screen. Every evening, Mr. Combs would host a party called Club Love, and there would be all the attendees of the Writers Camp, artists, and record label executives. What time is it? Okay. In addition to Club Love, Mr. Combs required everyone working on the Love album to lace the shots of De Leon tequila. So basically, that's what he's saying. Now, I'm waiting for the new, I'm not going to waste my time with this. I'm waiting for Motown's response. And they're supposed to be interviewing these witnesses now. So now I want to see what they found out. Now, if they can't get to the witnesses again, I'm sure the judge is going to sanction this man. This is not the first time. They were complaints filed on Tyrone in the T.I. Tiny case, in the Nicki Minaj case. The judge chewed him out, Judge Coates. This man is a con artist. It's the wrong attorney. So if you are serious, Lil Rod, you would get rid of that attorney and get you a real attorney, because this man is going to lose the case for you.
Well,
and I would go talk to the feds, go tell the police, bring in police. But what does this have to do with him not paying you? That's what civil lawsuits are about, money. Shouldn't this be in a criminal court? It's not what we don't empathize with with Young Miami, but she's in record calling herself a whore.
on record for saying that.
She did. She
Yeah.
did say that
Mhm.
on record. Okay, record. I think you record. That's what's going on. So, I just wanted to bring that up. That his lawyer's a con artist. Lil Rod's story is wavering. You didn't say this the first time. You didn't say that you were in charge of bringing in the ex-workers. You didn't say that. You didn't say that he was making you sleep with the other ones. You didn't say all that. Why does your story keep changing?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it matches up now completely to Nancy Grace? Is this a money thing? People sue people for money all the time, especially if you're rich. And why didn't you, as a man with ethics and morals, go report this to the police that you seen Diddy pow somebody? Instead, you claim that you had to record everything that he did. How come you're the only one with the recording? How come you're the only one with the recording in Justin's case, or Christian's case? Why are you always at the scene of the crime? And why didn't you go to the cops? Now you're calling him a straight dealer. Why didn't you go to the cops? And what does him dealing drugs have to do with him not paying you? It
Right.
feels like a shakedown.
When he chose to stay around Diddy, even if he was fearful, it was his choice to stay. Because, I got to be gentle with some people in the chat, because they always come back and say, well, Perry, you don't understand. He was fearful. Yes, I've been to combat. It's fearful moments in your life. And in certain ways, some people would never understand how to react. But it's amazingly how now that Cassidy got the 30 million, or how much she got, that now he's brave enough with Tyrone Blackburn to come up with these stories. And the stories seem to get further and further and further out as we go. And if you notice, a lot of people that talk about this Diddy thing, most people haven't really showed you proof of it, but the allegations just get worse and worse and worse. It's like everybody love a thriller. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to hear the worst. It's okay to speak the truth. Go ahead.
Oh, it says no one is mocking him, but as an attorney reading this, it's more a stretch, especially with example hookah bar. Who needs to know this? We look for stuff like this. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And now I feel like Roland Martin. I get mad when I see other bloggers come on here and lie. You are lying so you can fill your pocket, so you can get paid. Damn what that does to anybody else's reputation. If you are going to follow the case, then tell the damn truth. Let's talk about what was talked about in court yesterday. Tyrone got called out for lying on Judge Coates. He tried to save his ass by saying, but legally you can't punish me for this case or something I did in another case. That's what he said. That's what happened. If you're going to report the story, talk about the changing stories that Lil Rod is giving. Talk about that. I just hate bullshit bloggers. I have no respect. And let me tell you something. You might be getting away with that shit now, but your reputation will be mud. You did it on the Shanquilla Robinson case. Now you're doing it again. Bullshit bloggers are just the worst. There's no need to lie. amplified. It's ridiculous. Oh my God, don't you have any morals? So listen, I didn't even want to come on here and say this. I had to come on really quickly, state the truth. And I want all the other bloggers, the ones that DJ Academics, Tasha K, and there's another one. I cannot remember your name. I'm so sorry. Keep following it and keep telling the truth. We don't have to sensationalize, and realize this. I want you guys to realize this. Every time somebody comes on and does an interview about Puffy, everybody, listen to what I said, gets paid. Everybody that comes on and does an interview about Diddy that you claim you were there, you got paid for that. So if I'm getting paid, hey, I want to make this look real good. I'm going to say all kind of shit.
Yeah.
Even if I suffer from mental health issues, even if I'm doing this to lace my pocket with money, it just is sickening. What is wrong with some of y'all?
And then most of them that come on to speak will say what they remember, but never really show you photos or footage of what they seen. And I get it. A lot of times you might not have your phone or whatever, but at that point, it's simply hearsay.
It's ridiculous.
That's what I just
says, Jason Lee also said in an interview that Tyrone was a fraud as well. Tyrone is a fraud. He is a fraud, and there's much evidence to back that up. In time, this is what's going to happen. In time, the truth is going to come out. You're going to realize that the bloggers are lying, and then y'all want to do something about it, but it's going to be like a year later. If you're really following the case, follow it. All you have to do is go to Pacer and read the damn documents. If you're going to follow the case, follow the case. Don't sensationalize. I can't stand this. Anyway, I don't even have time for my 50-cent story. Should I tell it really quick?
Yeah, you can. I think, go ahead. Say it real fast.
Hi, Tori. So that means you don't need to say Tasha K is doing a good job. You are messy. She just had a woman saying she was messing with Diddy at the same time Cassie was. She said a lot of things. So is Tasha K a fraud to fit the interview? Is Tasha K lying with that interview? No. Listen, I don't know what you're talking about, Toria, but I know for a fact that Tasha K did a story about Tyrone being a fraud, and he is. I'm sorry if you like him. You need to do a background check on him, Toria. This man is not credible at all. We're not just saying this because we don't like Tasha K or just to feed the feverish pitch that everybody wants to be. Oh, this is so, the cancel culture. I don't do that for the cancel culture. I'm telling you the truth. Tasha K did a story on this, and she was telling the truth. I'm not judging about what she did with Cardi B or this one or that one. I'm saying on this case right here, she's telling the truth. I don't. Right, okay. I have sense enough not to bring my other feelings about what happened into this. Just stick with the facts. Tyrone is a con artist.
But Sharrell, I'm thinking because when you said that a lot of these bloggers, when people go on these shows, they get paid. She ain't saying that when a person come to a blogger show that the blogger is a fraud. Oftentimes when you pay somebody to come on your show.
Oh, I'm sorry, Toria. Yeah.
They would damn near tell you, you got to keep an open mind that this person is getting paid and they going to make it sensationalized to make it worth
you in particularly. You know who I'm talking about. I covered another story where this person was just lying. Right. I came out and told y'all she was lying. I said, she's lying. She be high. I told you this. And nobody wanted to believe me until about 6-7 months later when it was just obvious she was lying. She's just lying. She just makes shit up for clicks and views.
Right. And it almost sounds like, for real, if you take some of her stories, I was there. I remember back in the day I was there and this happened like that. It sort of sounds like Lil Rod. I'm just saying.
No. You're right.
It sort of do, right? Yeah. She started name dropping to make sure she knew everybody. I was in that field. It was hard. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Yeah, it's crazy.
Bonji says, Can we agree that the feds raided his home because the judge signed off on a probable cause affidavit? Yes.
Yes.
But when you do that, Bonji, you also have to admit Diddy hasn't been arrested.
He ain't been charged. Yeah.
We don't even have the final report of what was taken from the home. They usually do that a couple days after. The feds have a 98 conviction rate. So when they do something, they're serious about it. But what if they're in there for something totally different that we don't even know about? Because they're not telling us why they went in there. They're just not. And the man hasn't been arrested yet. We can speculate all day. So that's the problem with speculation. I am speculating that Kathy's telling the truth because of Diddy's action. 24 hours, you didn't even think about it. So I feel that he's right. I feel that she's telling the truth. I do. But I can't just get him on anything because I'm upset what he did to Cassie. We still have laws and rules to follow. So the affidavit, I mean, the search warrant has to be legal and done properly. Whatever you found eventually has to be told to the public, I'm hoping. Or
Right.
there's all kind of speculation, because I can speculate that the feds heard Lil Rod stories, talked to a couple people, and wanted to go in and find out if he was telling the truth, because they were looking for evidence. But they didn't know about Lil Rod's attorney's history. It could be all kind of stuff. I don't know. So right now, I'm not going to do what everybody wants me to do, and that's drag Diddy and just make up shit because I don't like them. I'm not going to make up anything because I don't like them. But things that are true is that Lil Rod's attorney is a con artist, and you're going to get in trouble again because you're bringing back up Shalice Studios. And what does that say on Lil Rod's morals if you know that Diddy unalived somebody and you don't say anything about it?
Well,
I feel bad for Cassie. I feel bad for all of the women, including Young Miami. I feel bad for Carisha because Carisha, this man's no good for you, period. You might be doing it for money, whatever, leave it alone. Next, he's going to add in there that day Diddy J walked into this. I mean, it's so much. It's so much. It's just a lot out there. And let's just wait. Because now we're dealing with shady bloggers who will lie and create things. We're dealing with shady ex-workers, because if Diddy did all of this, then you need to go tell the feds. You need to go tell the cops. Don't get paid for your interviews and do it. Who does that?
well,
I wanted to talk about, let's come back later, because I want to talk about 50 Cent. I want to talk about the girl whose daughter was unalived. There's so much to talk about, but I had to come on here and just clear this up. And at least I know that I have it for the records. This is what we always said, and this is what we stuck to. We stuck to this lawyer is shady and he's making shit up. And he's throwing people's name in there for shock value.
and let's keep it real. When Lil Rod first came out with the allegations, with the lawsuit, I did give him credit and say, hey, this guy, could be telling the truth. Now, just my opinion, I don't have fact that he's lying or not. It just seems strange to me. Just for me, because I'm not going to be the rest of them that come out and say, for a fact, whatever happened. And the only case we really dealing with right now, yes, his house got raided, all that. The feds ain't said nothing. Diddy lawyers ain't said nothing. Ain't nothing to talk about on that front. He ain't been charged. But as far as
Read what Baji said. She said, "But Carisha bragged about P. Pete, Vlad pays a lot of money. A lot of bloggers pay money, but I don't judge them for that. That's why I stopped doing interviews. Because if you pay a blogger, this is just for me. And if you want to pay, you pay. For me, I face the problem of when I start paying people for money, they start sensationalizing. So that's why I stopped interviewing and then I stopped paying. I used to pay good and got some really good interviews, remember? Mm-hmm. But then I realized the repeat offenders that kept coming back, kept wanting me to pay them over and over again. I was like, no. Then they started expecting all kinds of stuff. For me, it doesn't work for me to pay, but other bloggers do, and that's okay because somebody needs to interview them. It's just not going to be me. Anyway, let's go. Let's see. Lil Rod should sue for wages on the album, and he's suing for all kind of shit. Now, it just doesn't make any sense. Child by Michael Jackson wasn't innocent, just like OJ.
Oh, they
Michael
supposed to be talking
Jackson.
about in chat.
MJ? Oh, MJ. I don't know if that's Michael Jackson. Yes, Bonji, I used to pay. And that was in my 90-day fiance days. And all of those people that came on, I used to pay. And then when I started realizing people like Angela Dean, I'm not calling you out, I'm telling the truth. Start sensationalizing and lying and adding different stuff. She started calling me every day like I was her friends with new stories and shit. And so I
Girl,
stopped.
guess what? Light bill due. You know what? Did I tell you about what happened to me last night? No.
I stopped paying. Remember in the beginning, we used to get some good interviews. And then I was like, no, for me. But I'm not saying for others it's bad. For me, I didn't want to do it anymore, just for me. So that's a mess. Perry,
What?
you wouldn't understand Lil Rod's situation. For him to leave, he saw a man shot and nothing happened to Diddy. What I don't understand, I really don't. And I know a lot of people say this. Some people aren't strong enough to stand up to people. But if I see anybody take advantage of a child and I don't say anything, I'm just as guilty. He said there were underage children at this, underage women. I mean, what makes it even worse is that now you're including yourself in the scheme because you're saying that you knew these women were underage and you brought them in anyway. That's what you're saying, Lil Rod. You're saying I seen a pow pow go down and I was too scared to say something. I'm questioning you. Anybody who lets somebody take advantage of a child, something is wrong with your ass. You need a counselor. That shows poor character on your part. You ain't that damn scared that you can let somebody take advantage of a kid. Your grown ass can take care of yourself. But the other ones can't. So you don't say nothing, but you want to be paid for it? You want to be paid for it, but you're scared to go to the right officials. I mean, I don't want to be with, I don't hang with people like that. You don't let anybody take advantage of a underage person. You don't let you on a full on, you're claiming he's on a full on X ring and you don't say nothing. You not only you don't say nothing, you join the party.
Right. Okay.
It's weird to me.
Sharrell, can I address this? Like a couple things to Brina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't understand what Lil Rod's situation was. He seen Diddy do some bad things. So he chose not to say nothing out of fear. But something obviously have changed when he done went and filed a civil suit, not just pointing out what he's seen him do on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And all these other allegations. And I'm saying, look, at a certain point, no, I don't understand what would make him let another man do this to him. So I don't know his situation because I probably would have handled it a whole lot different. But Brina, do you understand? And unless you was in one of those situations, do you understand where Lil Rod's coming from? Because I don't. But I gave him warmth and took what he was saying and said, damn, okay, this happened to him. Because men can get harassed too. I get it. But some of the things he's saying just not adding up.
Well, what doesn't add up for me is that you let an underage person be violated, and then you get up the next morning and look yourself in the mirror. No, never on my watch. Never. Never on my, like, you have no integrity. You sat back and watched these underage women be violated and you said nothing, but you
And,
want to get paid for it.
and then another thing, and I think if he was that fearful for his life, once he got away with it, you know, when he was by himself, didn't have nothing to do with him. Probably still should have, probably would have been still fearful and just moved on and never mentioned anything about what Diddy did. Because don't don't say how scared you was when you was enjoying. Well, I can't say enjoying because that'd be the wrong thing. Getting treated the way you was, doing the things you was doing, but now all of a sudden you ain't afraid no more.
I would advise everybody, if you seen any underage children being violated, not just Lil Rod, anybody, you have to report it. People only have power if you give them power. Only, like, you could have went to the cops, had the cops arrest Diddy. Now who got the power? You do. Tell the truth. But you expecting children to defend themselves is absolutely asinine. Yes, if you are that weak, you make the big bully stronger by not saying anything. You don't have to put up with people's mess, especially if they're violating people that can't stand up for themselves. That's
Right.
just not cool. All right, y'all. We'll be back in a couple hours with 50 Cent. And I got a heartfelt story about a woman losing her child. How 5 years old. It was bad.
Yeah,
All right.
crazy.
We'll talk to you guys later. Let me know your comments in the comment section. Until next time. Bye for now.
Bye,
Check us
everybody.
out here.